people that are in the council chamber, they can have everybody tell us who won't be. Roll call.
Bowers,
Yep.
Carey,
Here.
Jarvis,
Here, Holman Hastings.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Moore,
In Chambers and Hastings. Here.
McLean,
Here, Council Chambers.
McNabb Stang,
Here at home in Hastings.
Rezegi,
Here,
Smith,
Here, council chambers.
and Tassava.
Here, council chambers. You all rise, pledge the flag, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
the indivisible, with justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda for tonight? Any additions or corrections?
I don't know about anybody else, but I can't hear them.
I can't either.
Approval of the agenda. Anybody have any additions or corrections? You hear me now?
I make the motion, we
Yeah.
approve.
Can't hear you.
Go ahead.
Something's wrong with the connections.
Can you hear me now, Don?
Yes,
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
so moved, Your Honor. Jarvis?
Jarvis,
Rezegi, support.
supported by Rezegi. Any discussion? Roll call.
Carey, Carey,
What? I'm having a hard time hearing.
Carey,
Ye-
Jim
Yes,
Perry?
Jarvis,
Yes,
yes,
Moppin-More, Moppin-More,
Yes.
McLean, McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Tassava,
Yes.
motion carried.
Approval of the minutes of February 22nd, 2021 virtual meeting. Any additions or corrections to that?
Smith makes a motion to approve the minutes and place on file.
Open more support.
Motion by Smith to approve, place on file, supported by Moppin-More. Any discussion? Roll call.
Jarvis,
yes,
Moppin-More, McLean, McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carey,
yes,
Tassava,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 6, open public discussion regarding matters not on the agenda. Is there anybody out there who'd like to speak at this time? If so, I'll give you 3 minutes. Give us your name. Anybody out there want to talk for a minute or 3 minutes? Excuse me.
Boy, I can't hear you, David.
Open public discussion, Don. You
For what? 598?
hear me now? Anybody? Anybody want to talk? Proclamations. We have a proclamation tonight for the sesquicentennial for March 11th, 2021. I'm going to stand out in front of my seat here and read this. Hopefully you can hear me better. see me, Jerry?
Yes.
Okay, this is the official proclamation of the city of Hastings, Centennial. Whereas on the 26th day of July, 1836, Eurotas P. Hastings, President of the Bank of Michigan and Auditor General of the state, sold to Philo Dibble, Landing Kingsbury, and Cornelius Kendall for $3,000 a tract of land in Town 3, North Range 8, West, known as Berry County seat purchase. The county seat has already been located at that point, but there was no settlers at this part of the country. Whereas Dibble, Kingsbury, and Kendall on the 25th of August following the purchase, they together with Andrew L. Hayes and Samuel Camp organized the Hastings Company for the purpose of laying out upon the land bought from Hastings, a village which was to be called Hastings in Eurotas P. Hastings' honor. To that end, they sent out men and material for erection of a sawmill. That was put on the creek, and whereas Slocum H. Bunker was engaged to come with his family for the purpose of boarding men during the construction of the mill. In quick time, Mr. Bunker built a log cabin to serve as a boarding house. Besides the boarding house, he constructed a house of entertainment for everyone to pass through. Although he did not then expect to remain in Hastings after the mill was completed, yet he did in fact stay there for several years and was considered the first settler in the city of Hastings. And whereas simultaneously with the movement to erect a sawmill, the Hastings Company was determined also to lay out a village. They accordingly platted the tract of land, now including the business portion of the village, and called it Hastings. Additions to the original plat of Hastings was subsequently laid out by men by the names of Stryker, Kenfield, Chamberlain, Grant, Dunning, and Bennett. A decided advance in the process of the new village was made in 1839 when Bays and Dibble built a grist mill. Slocum H. Bunker was engaged as a miller and managed the business for a few years. He then returned to Battle Creek, where he resided until his death. And whereas the village of Hastings continued to build, expand, and thrive, and on February 13th, 1855, by legislative act, Hastings was incorporated as a village. And on March 11th, 1871, became a city. And whereas Hastings, Michigan is home to be proud of, the beautiful city, county seat of Berry County, located in the heart of one of Michigan's most scenic areas along the Tharper River, nestled amongst hundreds of lakes. And whereas the founding fathers of Hastings built a sound foundation for us to continue to build on, and it is our responsibility to cherish what we have. Now, therefore, it be it resolved that I, David J. Thompson, Mayor of the City of Hastings, on behalf of the City of Hastings and City Council, do hereby recognize our sesquicentennial, March 11th, 2021, and invite all citizens to celebrate our 150th anniversary year. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Hastings, Michigan to be affixed this 8th day of March 2021. For the mayor. Okay, public hearings. We have a public hearing to hear written and oral comments to amend ordinance number 598 regarding consumption of alcohol, liquor, beer, wine, or spirits in a commons area of a social district established by City Council in compliance with Public Act 124 of 2020 MCL section 436.1551. Dan, are you on the meeting? You want to talk about this before we get into the public hearing?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, at the last council meeting, City Council approved a social district and commons area within the downtown area, designated with a maintenance and management plan, as well as a map of the social district and commons area. The next order of business would be for City Council to approve this text amendment to 6-1 regarding the open containers of alcohol in the commons area that was established by City Council at the last meeting. So this would be the last order of business to move forward with the social district and commons area, making it allowable for restaurants in the social district and commons area to sell their beverages for outdoor consumption. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm gonna open the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Do we have anybody out there that wants to speak? Is there anybody waiting, Jerry? Anybody out
Mr.
there?
Mayor? Got somebody right now.
Can we talk about this?
Until the public hearing's over with, Don.
Mr. Mayor, Lynn Denton.
Go ahead, Lynn.
I would like to support this for the downtown business team. It's a great move for the city of Hastings, modernizing and moving forward, bringing people downtown to support our local, not only restaurants and their alcohol, but their food. And then all the shops that are downtown will bring a lot more shoppers downtown. Put a new vibrant downtown area for people to come and visit, and we will become a destination city with this. Thank you for your time.
Bonnie, would you like to speak? Go ahead.
So I would just like to say that after last council meeting, when there had been some discussions about where people could possibly have alcohol and where they couldn't have alcohol, we did meet with Jeff Pratt and with Stephanie Feckus. And we outlined the ways that folks would or would not be able to take a Commons cup to, for instance.
There you go, Bonnie.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Bonnie.
Okay, so basically, Mexican Connection would not be able to have a Commons area cup at their table that they put out on the sidewalk because it is an extension of their restaurant. There will be signage on their table that simply states that they're not allowed to do that. And then we are going to have certain pods that are neutral. And we're looking at about 6 of those that will be built and paid for by the Community Foundation. You know, I think that after Dan and I actually chatted with Kalamazoo, I sent the marketing materials over to Jackie, who has been instrumental in the Battle Creek movement for the social district and Commons area as well, and got her input on the way that it should look. And we're ready to move forward. So I'm just excited and happy that we do progress with the new. And thank you all so much for your support.
Anybody else want to talk? Raise your hand. I can see you. Anybody else?
I have a couple of questions.
We're still doing the public hearing part of this. When we get done, I'll ask for public or council comment. Anybody else out in the public like to make
I can still hardly hear you, David.
Anybody else out there would like to speak from the public? Julie, do you want to say something?
Sure. When I attended the last meeting with the downtown merchants, one thing that came up in a conversation that really didn't even apply to this particular idea was that when the restaurants in Hastings are busy, they are busy. And when the restaurants are not busy in Hastings, it really, really hurts the local merchants. So our merchants are telling us that there is a direct correlation between how busy the restaurants are and how many times their cash register rings. And I think right now we need to help restaurants for obvious reasons, but we also need to make sure that we are as progressive and as supportive as possible for our local merchants too. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else from the public want to speak? Yeah, close the public hearing. this ordinance can be adopted tonight by a 2/3 vote. So is there, can I hear a motion and support?
Resigi, I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Motion by Reski, supported by McLean to approve ordinance number 598. Now we'll open up for council discussion. Todd, can you hear?
I have two objections. I don't mind it being done, except I think 10 o'clock in the morning is too early to be drinking. And I don't approve it for Sunday. I mean, that's a church day for a lot of people. And I think all we're doing with that at that time is making some people angry also. So that's my perspective on it. And without those changes, I'll have to vote no.
Anybody else?
Your Honor, I have a comment on the ordinance itself.
Yeah.
Basically, I think either definitions have to be put in for commons area and social district, or it needs to point to an ordinance that does contain those definitions. Because at this point, there's nothing that says what we're talking about there. And I'd like to see that amendment made.
Any comment? Any other comment? Roll call.
Oppenmore,
Yes.
McLean, McNabb Stang,
No.
Resiggy, Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
No.
Carey,
Yes.
Jarvis, Mr. Jarvis. You're on mute, Mr. Jarvis.
Now I'm ready.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Jarvis.
You're welcome.
Tassava,
Yes.
motion carries. Sorry, 7-2.
Okay, excuse me. Formal presentation and request. We have Julie Cali with us tonight. Give us a legislative update. You out there, Julie?
Hey, my name's Ty. I'm with here on behalf of Julie. Unfortunately, Julie had a meeting this evening. So Representative Cali, kind of diving into my presentation, she is spearheading the healthcare affordability plan that the House of Representatives recently announced. So it's a 15 bill package focused on making prescription drugs more affordable and that industry more transparent. And unfortunately, she had a meeting tonight, and she has a couple. She's testifying a couple different times this week in front of Health Policy. So that's been her focus this week. She's been running around pretty busy. So unfortunately, she wasn't able to attend, but I'm here in her place. As I'm going through my brief presentation, I'll put my contact in the side chat bar. So if anybody has any questions or needs any follow-up, just feel free to shoot me an email or a message in that contact, that chat bar. Your contact information, I'll be happy to reach out. So like I mentioned, the healthcare affordability package, it's three things. It makes prescription drugs more affordable, more accessible, and then increases the quality of care. So Representative Cali is sponsoring the legislation that's really focused on making the industry more transparent. So there's a middleman in there called a pharmacy benefit manager, PBM, that kind of regulates and negotiates contracts. That's not very transparent, and there's a lot of costs associated with that that we don't know about. So making it more accessible, that information more accessible, and hopefully lowering the cost. But that's one bill out of 15 or 14 others that Representative Cali is working on. In addition, this year she recently sponsored a bill looking to clean up the Michigan voter records. So that qualified voter file it would potentially impact 300,000 inactive voters. So what this legislation was inspired by was the audit by the State Bureau of Elections released in December. So that audit essentially highlighted the need for better procedures to remove and update that information, some of which have not voted, people who haven't voted for 20 years. So that updated information would be updated in the QVF with Representatives Callie's piece of legislation. In addition, and I'm sure you all are very well aware of the vaccine rollout that has taken place and continues to be a struggle, I think, for our local cities and municipalities. Recently, this past Monday, residents who are over 50 and older with medical conditions and disabilities are eligible now for the vaccine. But unfortunately, throughout this process, Representative Callie's frustrations stem with the legislature not being clearly involved in that process, and those discussions with the governor that weren't necessarily taking place. So hopefully, I know moving forward, focusing on an age approach is the simplest way to do it, but I know that vaccine is being rolled out. Around, I believe, 82,000 doses of the new vaccine this week. So if you have any questions about that, if you're eligible, where the vaccine's going, you feel free to follow up with me, through my contact information. Also, in addition to that, Representative Callie sponsored a piece of legislation helping to better support survivors of human trafficking. So this is some work that was taking place with Chair Whiteford last year. But essentially what this legislation would do would help curb one of the biggest crimes that's taking place across our country and unfortunately plaguing some of our smaller communities. So this bill really does support the women and the children that are involved in human trafficking and in helping them, after the fact, holding those criminals accountable and making sure that our rates here in Michigan continue to go down and we recognize that this is an issue across the country. Finally, the legislature recently voted, or the Michigan House of Representatives recently passed around $4.25 billion plan for state and federal resources. So that plan, not to get into too many details, but that would help families, help kids in terms of K through 12 education, helping job providers in the tune of $426 million in grant programs to help with local communities and those local businesses that are struggling, and then also additional funding to help fight the virus. So that's kind of a little bit what Representative Kelly is doing. She is staying busy, and unfortunately, I apologize she wasn't able to attend this meeting, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Again, if you do have them, I will put my information in the chat bar, and then we can communicate and go forward from there.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes, please do it.
I wondered what's going on with the bill that is doing away with daylight savings time. I think there's a lot of us that would, particularly older people, that would like to get rid of that.
Michigan, yep. I know last year or last term that was introduced. I believe it may be introduced again. I'll have to double check on that, but I know continuously it is introduced, and we have received quite a few questions. I haven't received any this year. I know last year there's a big push to remove that. I can follow up with you, John, and get back to you.
This one.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming. We have a request from Rotary, Hastings Kiwanis, to sell beer and wine during the 2021 season. This is pretty much the same thing we've done in the past, but Dave's he's on the meeting, so if anybody has any questions of Kiwanis or Rotary, now's the time to ask questions. Anybody? I hear a motion to approve. Resolution, I'll make a motion to approve.
McNabb staying, I'll support.
Motion by Redsky, supported by McNabb, support the request from Rotary and Kiwanis to sell beer and wine during Tropical Plaza's 2021 season. Any discussion? Roll call.
McLean. McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carey. Mr. Carey. Is he frozen?
There,
Uh, Jarvis, Mr. Carey,
Yes, yes, yes.
Jarvis,
yes.
Moppenmore. Tassava. Motion carried.
Consider request from Hastings Rotary and Hastings Quantic Club to run the concession stand at the plaza April 1st, 2021 through April 1st, 2022. Again, this is pretty much the same as we agreed on last year. So if you have any questions, Dave's on the call.
Yes.
Yes.
Smith makes a motion to approve the agreement between Rotary and Lions Club to run the concession stand.
We have a motion by Smith to approve. Do I hear support?
I'll support.
Supported by McLean. Any discussion?
I just have the question, other than the date, has anything changed?
No, I don't think so. Dave, has anything changed?
Okay.
I do not believe I changed anything in it. We're hoping just a continuation of last year. That didn't happen.
You gonna do it through the winter too?
If something comes up, we might have that option.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes,
Jarvis,
Yes,
Moppenmore, McLean,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Recommendation from other boards. Approve and authorize the distribution of the City of Hastings master plan for an official public comment period. Did everybody get a chance to read this little book? Pretty good reading. So what's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we authorize it to be distributed for official public comment period. McNabb saying.
Motion by McNabb, supported by Smith, to approve and authorize the distribution of the City of Hastings master plan for an official public comment period. That's 60 days, Jerry?
63 days.
63 days. And I think this has to be sent out to all the jurisdictions around us.
Yep. Yep.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carey,
yes,
Jarvis. Mr. Jarvis,
yes.
Moppenmore, McLean,
Yes.
McNabb Stang,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Under ordinances, we have the first reading of ordinance number 597. This ordinance says it adds commercial recreation facilities. Dave Hatfield has a board review meeting tonight, so he's unable. So if you have any questions about this, this is the first reading. So write your questions down and hopefully he's at the next meeting and we can go over this. But this is the first reading. Anybody have any questions right now? I think Jerry or Dan could answer any questions you have.
I have a question on it.
Go ahead, speak up.
Jerry and Dan, isn't this a continuation of the last recreational use? They're just changing the wording within the.
This is making it a permitted use in another district. The one that you passed previously was in the B1 district. So in the business district, it allowed the commercial recreational facilities. This is now allowing it in the D1 in the industrial, which subsequently makes it a permitted use in the D2. So any industrial district, somebody could bring in a commercial recreational facility into those districts.
So it wasn't B1. I thought it was.
Last time it was B1. It was just in the business district for the last one that you did. Yep, that was looking back at it, this is where another district that would be a feasible place to put it. So this is just cleaning that up.
Any other questions? Like I said, this is just first reading.
I do have one request about the ordinance again. I think it either needs to reference where a definition is or define. I know that Dave is going to be working on improving the definition, but I think it is contained in the B1 district ordinance, and I think we should reference that it's in accordance with or as defined in or something along those lines.
Just for clarification, the definition of commercial recreation facility is in the definition section of the zoning ordinance. It's not in B1. The B1 has it listed just like this did. And then the definitions are in the definition section at the beginning. It's 90-1 has all the definitions.
Okay, then that should be fine because that's where people would look for capitalized terms anyway, so.
Yep.
So I'm good then, thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. Next, consider resolution 2021-09, approving land transaction agreement and release of reverter interest from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for property located within Fish Hatchery Park, authorizing mayor and clerk to sign.
Do I understand?
I make a motion.
Second, Don.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2021-9.
Support Jarvis.
Motion by McNabb-Stain to approve, supported by Jarvis. Go ahead, Don, you got a question?
What brought this up, by the way?
Want to answer that question, Jerry?
Again, this is a continuation in the agreement that the city signed with PennOC to use Fish Hatchery parking. We agreed to get this reverter released because that property was donated by the DNR to the city. We cannot use it for anything other than a park. So this is just to release that triangle which makes up the parking lot. There is a cost to do that. You saw that's in there. It's I think it's $1,250, but also in the agreement, PennOC has agreed to reimburse the city for that cost.
Thank
So
you.
once we pay it and get that reverter removed, PennOC will then reimburse us for that cost, and then they can now park. The council wanted them to park in those spots farther away from the park, but they weren't allowed to because of this reverter. Now,
Yeah.
once this is removed, and I believe this goes, once you approve this resolution, we send it into the state, and the DNR meets April 15th to approve it. So after that point, then we should end up with having that reverted.
I got confused about it because I read on there something about $126,000. Hello?
Okay, I don't know what that is. It's $1,250, and whatever the cost was, PennOC agreed to reimburse.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep,
Carey,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
Moppenmore. Moppenmore is, I don't hear her.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. McLean,
Yes.
McNabb-Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Appointments, we have none. Item 14, bid contracts, agreements, and sales. Letter of understanding between the city of Hastings and Thornapple Arts Council for Hastings Live. Dan, you want to explain this one?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Bowers. Supported by Rezegi. To approve, letter of understanding between City of Hastings, Stark Arts Council. Did somebody have a question? I heard somebody ask. Pretty much the same as we always had it, that's right. Right? Roll call.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
Moppenmore, McLean, McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Jane, how come I can hear you so clear, but I can't hear the mayor hardly at all?
I'm in my office.
Oh, okay. Well, go up and get him down there, will you?
I can't, Dave, go downstairs.
Can you hear me now? Consider proposal from Brian Newhoff for testing and inspection of East Woodland Avenue for $31,872 as recommended by Travis Tate.
Smith makes motion to approve the recommendation for the testing.
Moppenmore support.
Motion by Smith, supported by Moppenmore to approve recommendation from Travis Tate. Any questions?
Your Honor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for Travis on this, on the engineering and testing. My question is, what is the projected cost for the resurfacing of the road? And how much money is coming from the city? How much money is projected for grants for this project?
On the call, Travis?
Yes.
We have a grant from the state for part of this or all of it?
Now we do.
Question.
I think it was given at the last meeting, all the information.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I can also send something out. It's a,
And they're still doing engineering, right, Gary?
they are, no, this is the project that's ready to go. It's gonna start as soon as the construction season. This has been let, Lakeland, in construction won the bid through the state. And so this will start here once they can start doing construction.
I think
And
our
so
matching fund's like $90,000.
it's, I'll get the exact number for you and send it out tomorrow morning. Okay, but it's I want to say the total project is about 400,000, and I think we're somewhere in the 87,000, something like that we have to pay, that we budgeted for this year, and then the rest is coming from the state.
What was the, do you remember what the winning bid was? Was it underneath? Obviously, it was underneath.
Yeah, it was underneath that. Yes, so it'll cover what we're getting from the state will cover the project. I don't mean to speak for you, Travis, but are you there, Travis?
Can you hear me now? I had my headphones on.
We can hear you now.
You can?
Kinda, you're cutting in and out.
But yeah, Jerry explained it well. It's got around 400,000 and we're getting grants to help pay for that cost.
I'm good, man.
Okay, thanks, Travis. We have a motion and support for this?
Yeah.
A while ago. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Carrie,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
Moppenmore, McLean, McNabb Stang,
Yes.
Rezegi, Smith,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
and Tassava.
City manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In your packet, you had the report from Travis Tate regarding stuff that's going on in the Department of Public Service. Hopefully you got a chance to review that. Does anybody have questions for Travis? Travis is on the call.
This is Jim Carey. I got a question for Travis.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Hey, Travis, have you stuck your nose in all down there at the sewage treatment plant to see how things are going down there?
Oh, he's on mute. We can't hear you, Travis. I know Travis does spend time down there.
Travis?
Travis's audio is not working right now, Jim. I can vouch for him. He has spent some time down there checking on him. Did you have?
Can you hear me now?
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, I've been down there a few times. What's your question?
Okay. You're
No, Jim's cut now. Jim, we can't. Jim, we can't hear you. Jim, maybe you can reach out to Travis and ask him the question. All right. Thanks, Travis, for that report.
Wait, I have one question for him.
Sure.
That's all right. I was waiting to see if Jim was done. I know I had asked for detail on how we were coming on the project and the expenditures and stuff. I think I got a little bit too much detail here because I was not able to follow this. What I just want is high level, what the project is, what we've paid for it, the change orders, what percentage were allowed under the contract as far as the budget goes. That kind of high level stuff.
Okay.
I don't need a detail of everything we've spent on it. And so that we can just know that, like, when you say there's $65,000 in change orders, what does that mean compared to what we budgeted for overage?
Well,
that kind of thing. So
yeah, we budgeted probably around 5% of the total contract cost.
I can't hear you, Travis.
Well, we've budgeted around 5%. So
yeah.
This is far below the less than 1% so far. So we're still in a really good shape.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I understand we're in good shape. I heard that 5%, and I heard good shape. That's those are two good things to hear. But if we could just have that breakdown, so that the public knows as well what we're talking about. When you say 5%, it's not 5% of the 8 million. It's 5% of the whole project. Or
yeah.
What is it? Oh,
yeah,
so.
It would be 5% of the whole project.
Right. So yeah. So if you can just spell that kind of thing out for your next report, it'd be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I interject? Brenda, 5% of the whole project is roughly $450,000.
Okay, good. That way we know. Anytime a change order comes in, how we're going against that 400,000 that's been budgeted for it. That'd be good.
All right, good. All right, thank you, Travis. Also in your packet, you had a report from Roger. Hopefully you got a chance to review that. Roger is on the call as well, so if you have any questions, please ask.
Stuff done down at the. Yeah. Pretty cool. I saw the fire truck sitting out, so I was assuming, but trying not to assume, so.
Can't hear a damn thing.
Hey, Roger, where are we with the ventilation system at the fire department?
Roger, are you on?
Yeah, I am. I can't hear her.
They asked for an update on the ventilation.
Okay, Van Dyken completed their installation today. The Bust is coming in tomorrow for the electricians to rewire what needs to be rewired and update the electrical system in the station. And then next week, there's electricians coming in to finish wiring up the makeup system, so it's gonna be hooked up to the computers and it'll go into effect at that point in time. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and also in your packet was a report from Peggy. And I believe Peggy's on the call as well. So if you have any questions, please ask. All right, thanks, Peggy. If you have any other questions, please ask. And then the last report that you had in there was from the assessors. They are not available tonight because of the Board of Review. But if you have any questions in particular for them, you can either email them or you can send them to me and I will make sure that they get them and get back with you. Mr. Mayor, that ends my report.
Thank you. Item 16, consent items without individual discussion as always. If you see anything you want to talk about, we'd like it done, we'll come back to it. Item 8, invoices, none. Item B, draft minutes, Downtown Development Authority, February 18th, 2021 meeting. Item C, draft minutes, Planning Commission, March 1st, 2021. Item D, Planning Commission year in review, synopsis of activities 2020. Item E, draft minutes of the Hastings Public Library Board of Trustees, March 1st, 2021 meeting. Item F, Berry County Central Dispatch, February 2021 statistics. Item G, events calendars, March 2021. Anybody want to pull any of those, talk about them? Motion to adopt and place on file.
This is McNabb staying. I'll make that motion or support.
Motion by Abstain, supported by who? Riziki. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Jarvis.
Yeah.
Moppenmore. McLean. McNabb Stang.
Yes.
Rezegi. Smith.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Carey. Mr. Carey. Mr. Carey, you're on mute.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tassava.
City Attorney's report.
Good evening. I have nothing to report in open session tonight for council.
Legislative Director's report.
Nothing to report for this meeting.
Open public discussion from the floor. Anybody out there would like to talk? I'll give you 3 minutes. Tell me who you are. Anybody? Okay, here, council comment. Any council comment tonight?
I'll go first, John.
Go ahead.
I had a question too, Mr. Mayor. Are you gonna talk about the special meeting coming up?
No, Mike.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I won't be here next meeting, on site, but I'll be off site, and I know we got a few issues that are probably gonna work out by then, but I just wanna let you know, the staff, that I won't be here. Then, looking forward to the special meeting that we have, I think we're gonna talk about, but, I have a couple questions, but I'll email them, and I imagine that you'll get back, your assessor questions, actually. I'll send those out so the council can see those and see Jerry answer those with the assessors. And then my additional comment is I have my son Carter, my oldest son Carter, he graduated his medical training in the Army And now he's in his Special Operations Ranger Assessment Program right now. And I'm really proud of him. And I look forward to seeing him. I've seen him one time in a year and a half. I look forward to seeing him when he comes back eventually. But he's got a big week right now. He's been really going through a lot of stuff, getting smoked, a lot of physical fitness. But it's good for him. So I was gonna say thank you guys.
Any other comments tonight?
Your Honor, Al here. When they're talking, I can hardly hear what they're saying, and I don't know even what Don said. I had no idea what he had to say, so I don't know if anybody else is having that problem. But if they could take the mask off or something when they talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I think two things are going on. One is they're talking to each other in the room, and secondly, the mask. And I think when Mayor, when you were out in front of the podium, you sounded a lot louder than you were behind it, behind at the desk. So I think there's something happening there.
Out by where the podium's at. So I was about 5 foot closer. We'll tweak that. We're gonna have to get another couple mics in here.
I think part of it's the echoing.
Say
Yeah.
what?
Part of the problem is the fact that they're not talking to people outside the room. They're talking to people inside the room. And then the masks are muffling their voice even more, so.
I don't have mine on. Can you hear me now?
No, I hear you most of the time very well.
More, any other council comment? Well,
nope.
I've been talking to the municipal league, and this Kathy that's gonna come in and be our facilitator wants to have a special meeting March 23rd from 6 to 8. And he's gonna be in here most of the day looking at the city things. And she also wants to meet with department at 3 o'clock that same day. So I'm gonna send out I'll have Rusty send out an invitation tomorrow with these dates and times on it. And hopefully, like I said, that's 2 weeks away. Hopefully we all get together that night. What they want to do is they want to come in here, look at the city of Hastings, kind of do a little report on, some of the things, some of the great things we've got going on. And, I told you before, they kind of want to merchandise the city, but March 23rd at 6 o'clock, they want to come in here and they want to talk to us as a group, the council as a group, and talk about the things we want to see in our next city manager. So it'd be great if everybody that could be there can be there. I'll get a notice out tomorrow. I'll have her send it out, and I'll send out a reminder probably before the end of the week. Once I call her tomorrow, she's going to send me back some ideas on some of the things maybe we need to talk about on the 23rd. So I'll have all the information before we have that meeting. So just kind of mark March 23rd down your calendar, hold that date. Like I said, it'd be great if we could all get together, but we'll see what happens. But anything else, I'll let you know. Any other comments?
Your Honor, I got one, Al Jarvis, one thing. Last night, we got back in town later in the evening, drove downtown, and the decorative lighting really looks great down there. We kind of discussed either there were snowflakes or the sign for a musical thing, but the lights really look great, made downtown even look better.
Need to thank Jerry for that. That was his idea. Have you noticed the laser show at the plaza?
No, I didn't see that.
We thought they looked like funny signs. The signs, they look funny signs.
Okay, any other business come before the council? Entertain a motion to adjourn. Rezegi, I'll make that motion. Motion by Rezegi, supported by Moore to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.